Hi everyone, it's Louise Pearson back with a video this time about when you're the one with a life-limiting illness, the topic of telling other people. And I'm Louise Pearson, as I've just said. I'm from Louise Pearson Counselling. I have a mental health social work background, a grief counsellor background, and also lived experience of a life-limiting illness in pancreatic cancer and also cancer which made me go blind when I was 1 year old. I think that this is a topic which we need to look at because essentially it's something which needs a lot of thought when really there's not much time for thought. So it's something that we need to think a lot about, and we have little time, and then we need to realize that it's not something that happens once, it happens lots of times. So you won't just receive one lot of diagnostic information. There'll be lots of other times when you need to think about, how much do I want people to know? When you first hear the news in terms of seeing doctors, getting some diagnostic or life-changing news, it can be helpful if you have the warning to take someone with you. I know it's not always possible, but if it is possible, it can help to decide in advance if you're happy with that person being allowed to ask questions. You could ask them if they're willing to take some notes for you. And this way you can recheck your understanding of particular points, because it's amazing really the different things that two people will take away from the same conversation. Sometimes when you're hearing things, your brain goes into trauma. You stop taking information. And so it can be helpful to have that person with you. It's also helpful to come up with your own disclosure strategy. You're the subject matter expert about yourself and your way of dealing with crises. For myself, I chose to get the news out there to my family and close friends, and I guess I wanted to tell people because I knew that they would be grief stricken, as I would be if I was hearing it about someone close in my world. I also know that I manage better if I have information, so I wanted people to have the information that I would want to have. And I wanted there to be no Chinese whispers. I found that if I told people, or a few chosen people told people for me, then the right information went out. So my workplace knew, lots of people knew, but then there was no secrecy. Of course, it's also true that once the news is out, you can't reel it back in. So there are no right answers to this question, just pros and cons. It's worth working out what's going to work for you. And then also worth working out, who needs to hear it from you? Who are the most important people? Who's going to be shattered by your news? Remember also, and you'll know this if you've done it once, that repetition of this sort of news is exhausting. And, you might need to ask yourself, can you delegate to anyone? You're dealing in other people's coping strategies here, and some people will want to tell everyone, some people won't want to talk about it. So if there's someone in your life who is happy to be that person who tells people, then consider them for that role. And remember that telling people will be heartbreaking for you and soul destroying, because all you're doing essentially is ringing people on perhaps what might have been a lovely day and causing them heartache. And that's something that really sort of sticks in my mind as something that was really difficult when it happened for me. So what we're dealing with there is the reactions of others, and they will be as varied about your diagnosis as the people in your network are. Some people will want to talk about it, some people won't. And so therefore it's important to seek support for yourself from people who you find really supportive. And I guess the expectation in these situations is that that's someone like our family members or best friend, someone like that. And it might actually be someone totally different for you. That's okay. It's about what best supports you. Remember that you also will have a role in supporting those you love as they come to terms with what's happened for you. And I guess another reason I think it can be good to have this strategy and work out if you are prepared to tell people is that they say it takes a village to raise a child. I think it also takes a village to deal with our diagnoses. And really, we all live in a village. Some people have lots of family spilling out of everywhere and friends. Some of us don't. But we live in some sort of village where we know people and they will know the news about us. If they know, then they can come and assist us when they have the knowledge. Last year, for example, people were amazing. They walked my guide dog, they brought me food, they did all sorts of things, and they could only do that because they knew. And I guess I say that here that disclosure is the gift that keeps on giving. And I think it's really important because this is a topic, as I've said, which we revisit every time new information comes in, every time new treatment options are explored. You know, you'll have to decide who you want to know, what you want them to know. But also, it's something that we revisit even if we're going about our daily lives again. Who needs to know from the new people that we meet? Who needs to know? How quickly do they need to know? Are they going to stay in our lives? So it's something that causes us grief, absolutely, but it also can make us laugh. And I'm sure most of us have stories about people we've told and the funny things that people have come up with. And I personally think that a sense of humour is essential. It's something that really helps me. I'm hoping that you found this video helpful. If you have, subscribe to my channel, click on the like button, and of course I'll be back with more about what it's like to live with a life-threatening illness or life-limiting illness from the coalface, because I think there's need for that out there, more of our perspectives and things that I wanted to know when I was diagnosed.